These are the keys to staying focused on your long-term goals. Find out what they are coming up next. We all set goals for ourselves, and a lot of times we struggle to achieve them. There are a whole bunch of reasons for that. But for whatever reason, individual or not, we struggle with achieving the goals that we set for ourselves. We get distracted. We lose focus. We veer off in one direction or another. This is particularly true of goals that we set that kind of have a longer time horizon to achieve them. Part of it is that our minds are prone to distraction. It is difficult for us to stay focused on a singular thing for a sustained amount of time. And when you mix that with kind of the hyper distractible media and environment that we live in, world that we live in, where there's just one new shiny object after another to chase, it becomes even more difficult. But there are some really kind of concrete, practical steps that we can start to take to help us maintain a focus on our goals over time, such that we have a higher probability of achieving them. One of the first things that it's really important to do is to begin to recognize the patterns that contribute to loss of focus on our goals. We live in a repeating and patterned environment, and we bring our own set of patterns in response to that environment. So if we can spend some time observing ourselves, watching our behavior and our typical set of responses, if we can spend some time thinking about how we think and what the triggers are for loss of focus for us, we'll be in much better place to kind of preemptively and proactively avoid those triggers. If we know the pattern, we can step in and intervene to change the pattern. I'll give you a real concrete example for myself. One of the things that I've learned about myself over the years when I'm trying to stay disciplined with a dietary practice is that I am most likely to lose focus on that goal if I've had a really stressful day or something happens that triggers a strong emotional response in me. I tend to lose focus on my goal and start shoving stuff in my face that I know is not aligned with my goal. So what do? If I've picked up on that pattern, so then you can begin to take those concrete steps to intervene proactively. So where is it that I break my goal-focused behavior? It's almost always at home. When is it that I tend to break my goal-focused behavior? At the end of a day when I get home from work. So knowing those two things, right? Knowing that I'm probably not going to avoid stress, although there are some definite things that you can do that I have done in the past to help me manage my stress more effectively at work. But I just got to assume that at some point, there's going to be some pattern that triggers that loss of goal-focused behavior. So I know it happens at the end of the day. I know it happens at home. So the way I kind of proactively intervene with that is I make sure that I don't have the types of foods that I'm prone to eating after a long, stressful day or an emotionally laden day. Just don't have them in the house, and have some good, healthy alternatives. So, and that's just good all the time, right? But if I have the ice cream, if I have the chips, if I have whatever it might be in the house that I know I'd like to eat, ice cream and chips are kind of top of mind for me because they're two of my favorites. Yeah, if I come in, I've had a bad day, and they're there, likelihood is my pattern is I'm going to eat those things. So don't have them in there, and when I get home, I might go looking for them, but when I don't find them, yes, I might be frustrated. But I'm like, okay, you did it. You caught yourself. You had identified your pattern, and you proactively intervened. Another thing that you can do is be really clear with your intentions. And this is something that I do each and every day. I have in my daily journal a specific section that says intentions. And so every day, every morning when I write in my journal, I set my intention for the day. That's tied to the goals that I have for myself over the long run. So I just write it out. My intention today is to be disciplined, focused, and stick to my dietary goal for the day. That's just an example. And just get into the habit of doing that, because when you set the intention at the end of the day, it sets your mind, it focuses your mind, and is a bit of a defense against distraction day over day on whatever it is you've set for your goal. Now, with that intention, another thing you can do is you've got this big longer term goal that takes time to achieve. You break that into daily activities, to daily behaviors. Recognize your patterns, be clear with your intentions, and set some sort of behavior each and every day that you're going to engage in that is tied to your goals. And as you do that day over day, then you want to start to build in regular reviews, regular checks on your progress. So for me, the dietary thing is typically in service of weight management, or helping me, making sure I'm getting enough protein in to build the amount of muscle I'm trying to build over a given period of time. So whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, setting in regular reviews or check-ins, times to reflect on your progress can help you stay focused on those long-term goals as well. And then over time, as you're clear with your intentions, you're documenting your intentions, you're creating those daily goal-oriented tasks, you're doing those regular check-ins, you will begin to be on a sort of autopilot system, because you built a daily discipline through recognition of patterns, things that you're doing each and every day associated with accomplishment of those long-term goals. And being on that autopilot helps kind of create a force field from distraction. Now, know that the distractions are still there. They're still going to pull at your attention. They're still going to try to kind of veer you in one direction or the other away from your ultimate goals. But now you have a set of tools to help you stay more focused. And if you do veer, you've got a set of practices that you can always come back to get yourself back on the right road toward achievement of your goals. If you found today's content helpful, please just take 1 second, hit that like button, share it with anyone else who you think needs this message about how to be more focused and less distracted when it comes to your long-term goals. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I ask you just one more tiny little thing. Before you go anywhere else, just reach out and touch that subscribe button. And until next time, please be well.